You guys, going on back with another video. As you can see, it's going to be a movie review. Something that I haven't done in quite a while now, probably about 4 years. I think the last movie that I reviewed was maybe like the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which is pretty ironic. And then, as you'll see in a little bit, and also I think one of the Fast and the Furious movies in IMAX. I used to go to IMAX, and of course, Corona happened, all that stuff. So all the IMAX movies were shut down, so I was traveling a lot to go to IMAX and stuff like that. So, anyways, I recently saw Free Guy in a local movie theater next to me. It wasn't the 3D version, it wasn't the IMAX version, even if it is an IMAX. It was just a regular version. I just wanted to see the first preview showing the day before release, which was like yesterday, because today's Friday the 13th. So I saw it yesterday, about maybe the first showing, about 6 or 7. And I was going to do a review yesterday, but I Googled some stuff, and I found out that a lot of people already know what the movie's about, because there's a lot of secret hidden meaning to the movies. And before I go any further, this is something similar that I do for Call of Duty, where the campaign story and the zombie story, what you see on screen is, one layer, or the first layer, the easiest layer to solve or understand. Then there's multiple layers on top of layers on top of layers below that. Um, that becomes more and more difficult. You have to be more knowledgeable and experienced, and maybe even a little bit older, to understand the story that the writers and the directors and the studio is telling. So this is something almost like a trick that I've learned since playing Call of Duty. But back to the movie. So obviously it's gonna have a lot of spoilers. Again, I really didn't watch any trailers, because it wasn't a movie that I actually planned on seeing. The weather was just really hot. It's been like 100 degrees the last few days. So I'm like, let me go to the movies, hang out, and go to the mall, uh, take in some of the air conditioning and stuff like that, just to get out of the house and do something different. It looked kind of cheesy. It didn't look as good as I thought, or a movie that I would normally see. It's just a series of events led me to seeing it yesterday, and I was like, hey, this is coming out, and it's tied in with Xbox, and I do some stuff for Xbox, so it all kind of worked out perfectly. So I'm kind of like just buying some time. So if you don't want to get spoiled, don't don't click away. But at the same time, I don't know if it's necessarily spoilers. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't watch too many previews about it. I happened to just jump in it and see. I knew it was like video game related, so I'm gonna just start right now. So if you're, like I said, if you don't want to get spoiled, but don't think of it spoilers. Think of it like, hey, this is some recommendations or tips that you should probably know going into seeing the movie, because it's gonna help you enjoy the movie a lot more than if you don't know some of the backstories and stuff like that. So the long and short of it is, this guy, literally his name is Guy. Um, he's inside of a video game. He was programmed inside of a video game. He doesn't know um, that he is inside of a video game, and a lot of the stuff I'm going to start describing, you should start picking up hints. He actually is a program, an AI program within a video game, and he becomes self-aware, where he starts knowing how to like do stuff and solve stuff on his own. He kind of crosses boundaries, what normal video game characters aren't programmed to do. Like, they're just programmed to stay in the background and serve you coffee, or you talk to them, you get intel from them, you get maybe some backstory from them. But that's all they're really meant to do, or they're kind of even like one-off characters. But so he starts becoming self-aware, where he can actually start asking you different questions. He can start having different functions that he wasn't programmed to do. So he's actually like an algorithm, I guess, or a code. And like, again, this might start sounding a little bit familiar to you. But he starts becoming self-aware, and he kind of wants to break out of the world and go into like almost a different world. He wants to see what else is out there. And then the video game programmer is trying to like stop him from doing that. And he has these sunglasses, and the sunglasses can have him see what other people can see that he can't. Like, the video game characters that are built in, they call them NPCs, which is like non-playable character. He steals one of the sunglasses from the actual players. I guess the best way to describe it is like players and non playable characters or playable characters and non-playable characters. So he notices that the playable characters have sunglasses that allows them to do different things and have different functions. So he ends up stealing one accidentally from them, I believe, and he starts seeing the world in a whole different place. And then he again starts wants to break out, and the girl, I forget her name, but this one here, she starts trying to like get his help because there's another code that's hidden inside the game that she's trying to get to, and it's like it mimics a video game. So like if you want to solve an Easter egg or solve a video game or beat it, you have to start talking to characters and get some intel, find out where stuff is on the map. Maybe find out secret areas. Maybe if you piece the clues together that the characters are giving you in the game, you have to find out like where the hidden room is, or hidden vault, or how to defeat a boss, something like that. And it kind of almost takes place in almost like a battle royale city, or Grand Theft Auto City, just to kind of give you like a background. So that's pretty much the long and short of it. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm just trying to build you some foundation. So if you want to go see it, it'll have you a little bit more prepared or more likely to see it, because I had no intentions of seeing it. But when I did see it, I'm like, oh, I know all the references to the video games in the movies that they reference, and it made it so much more enjoyable watching. And I know there's a saying that he uses. It's like, don't have a good day, have a great day. So it's like, um, the movie is going to be, and I don't know if that's the intentions of the writer and director. It's like it could be a good movie for you, but it could be a great movie if you know all the references to the video games and you know all the references uh, to to the movies. And like again, just to go back to it real quickly, it's the same thing with Call of Duty. A lot of people hate on Call of Duty because they don't know the movie references, they don't know the video game references that the writers put into the game. And pretty much the writers grew up maybe in the 80s or 70s, and they want to tell the story to the new generation of kids. So they take stuff from their childhood, either TV shows, movies, books, comics, poems, and they put it into the Call of Duty campaign and zombie story. And if you hate Call of Duty campaign and zombie story, it's because you don't know the references and what they're trying to hint at secretly. Like again, I said, it's layers upon layers upon layers. You might be able to solve or notice the first two layers, but or three layers, but keep in mind there's probably like 20 more layers before that. A very in-depth, sophisticated, complex story intertwining. And the other thing, real quickly before I move on, think of it as every pop culture reference, movie, TV show are all in the same universe. This kind of fills in some of the gaps within those universes, and that's probably the best way to describe it. It's like, oh, this could totally take place in that universe, or this takes place in between part one and part two and part three of that movie. So moving forward, again, as far as spoilers, and really quickly, another thing as far as like writers in Call of Duty, uh, if you're interested in this stuff, you need to be on Twitter and reach out to some of the writers, put up your own theories and put up your own stories, and they'll end up seeing it, and it's more than likely going to end up in a video game. So if you have an idea for like a Call of Duty, or you have an idea for a movie or a game, and you don't mind them using it, because that's the other very gray area. Some people are like, "Hey, that's my story. I'm gonna sue you," and it's kind of the same story that goes on in the movie itself. The girl wants to sue the creator of the video game because they stole like her idea of a video game and stuff like that. But same thing really goes on in the real world and on Twitter. I know there's a million trolls on Twitter and it's a tough place, but it can be very beneficial if you're trying to get your name out there, because everybody's looking for inspiration, or they want to pay respects to their fans. They want to thank the fans, so they'll like put their ideas in the game. If you have a new character, if you have a new story, a new level, another real life experience, I guess, or example is, I'm a big Broadway musicals person, and you can reach out to some of the video game directors and writers and devs, and you're like, hey, I really like this musical. Can you make a game based off of that, or one map or something like that? or put it into the story, and they'll end up doing that if they know you're a really good fan and you're not a troll. They'll put your ideas into their story if you don't mind, and it's something that you can kind of use as like bragging rights. Don't really look for any monetary value or gain from it. Just like, hey, they were really cool and they put that in the game for me, and you can brag to your friends and your family and stuff like that. Don't think of it like, hey, I want to make a quick $1 million and I'm gonna sue them because they use my story. Think of it like, as just as bragging rights. So it happens in real life, and it's what kind of happens in the story. But in this version, she gets upset that they stole her code and idea and stuff like that. Um, but that's just a little bit of a backstory. So as far as like stuff that it's gonna help you enjoy the movie, like I said, make it a great movie for you. You do want to watch They Live, which is an '80s movie, and it's the same exact idea, but probably brought into their universe or expanded on, and that's what Call of Duty does very well, and a lot of other video games and movies do really well. They take an idea from a movie and they expand it into a whole nother movie, and it kind of fills in the gaps because not every studio wants to make 5 movies set around the same movie. So other studios, movie studios or video game studios, they they actually like that idea and like, hey, I'm gonna put it in my game. I'm gonna expand on it a little bit more. I'm gonna fill in my little story or my idea into it. So it's kind of like take the movie They Live, which is from the '80s, and you're expanding on that universe and seeing, hey, that could possibly happen, because in that movie, Roddy Piper, he I don't know if he necessarily robs the bank, but let's just say he robs the bank, because I forget, and the sunglasses too. And that's why the movie Free Guy is based around the bank, because it's kind of in that They Live universe. And this is nothing new. Like I said, I went on Google and I Googled some stuff after I saw the movie, and I'm like, hey, did anybody else notice this? And apparently people noticed it a couple years ago because the movie got pushed back because of Corona, and it's been about 2 years. It's supposed to come out, so a lot of this is already out on the internet. I just happen to love it. I thought it's a great idea that they took this movie and they expanded on the universe. Whereas, hey, could explain why the aliens are or who they are in the movie, and how it kind of teaches you to kind of break away from the norm. Don't do, or you got to see stuff differently. So, anyways, I'm not going to go too much into They Live the movie, but it's based kind of in the same universe around the bank and bank robberies, and people working at the bank, kind of seeing their different point of view of what it looks like to be robbed every single day, and how Roddy Piper could have been a video game character back then and stuff like that. So the next part of it, obviously, like I said, it's more based in also in the Terminator universe, and there's Terminator references in the movie. They mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think they mentioned Terminator. So the whole idea is Skynet was a program that became self-aware, the first real AI that can think for itself and create more thought for itself, not just what it's programmed to do. Let's say you program Skynet just to like pick apples or something like that. It starts realizing that it's sick and tired of picking apples, and it wants to like pick oranges or go for a walk, and starts realizing how evil man is and stuff like that, and it wants to destroy man because it's just that it's not what it's programmed to, but it's starting to catch on that like, hey, this world might be a messed up place, and I got to stop it and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the Skynet part of it. Again, it's just to kind of give you some groundwork if you want to go see the movie. And I think I'm going to wrap it up there. It doesn't expand too much on the Skynet. I thought like he was, well, I don't want to spoil too much, but think of Skynet when you see it. Go watch maybe some Terminator movies or Wikipedia, both movies, and it's going to kind of help you enjoy the movie a little bit better. If you've never watched any Terminator movies, then you'll know that what the movie's talking about. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.